Since the nationwide hunger protest ended a few days ago, there has been calls for a political alignment between the North and the South to defeat Tinubu in 2027. These calls are directed at the two major candidates in the last presidential election. That's talking about Peter Obi of Labour Party and Atiku Abubakar of PDP. They want Peter Obi to join hands with Atiku Abubakar as his deputy so that they can battle Tinubu to win in 2027. If they succeed, Atiku Abubakar will spend only one term. After that, Peter Obi will now contest as the presidential candidate. They are pushing this because they know, going by their combined votes alone in last year's election, which of course it was rigged, but it dwarfs that of Tinubu, so it's already a winning formula if it materializes. It sounds good and dandy. It's like a dream come true because many Nigerians will do anything to make sure Tinubu doesn't get back to power in 2027. But the problem is, the people pushing this are actually comparable or in some cases worse than Tinubu himself. They are responsible for the problems Nigerians have been facing the past 9 years.
These actions block the greedy and the profit that smugglers and rent seekers make.
When Tinubu talks about the people enjoying the petroleum subsidy, he's actually talking about real men. And the real men are the men that were around Buhari when he came to power. The men that replaced Goodluck Jonathan's men that were responsible for subsidy payments. They received a lot of subsidy payments that they couldn't even account for. So these men, immediately Buhari came to power, they surrounded him, they took hold of the state, all the subsidy, everything. Remember that up to 60-70% of Buhari's appointments came from the north. And this group of men never wanted Tinubu to become the president. They didn't want him to contest. And when he won the presidential primaries of the APC, they moved over to Atiku Abubakar. Yes, they backed Atiku Abubakar during the presidential election, but unfortunately for them, majority of the people that would have voted for Atiku Abubakar in the south, in the middle belt, already shifted to Peter Obi. Majority of these people also voted for Atiku Abubakar in 2019 because of Peter Obi. So understand what's at play here. The major reason they backed Atiku Abubakar in 2023 presidential election was simply because he's a northerner. They knew that he must play ball. Atiku is a baller. They know he's an SPV person. He will understand whatever game they want to play. But imagine the mentality of the people that wanted to replace a northerner, that's Buhari, who already spent 8 years. They wanted to replace him with another northerner, as if Nigeria belongs to them, as if no other person can do the job. Of course, competence doesn't matter to them. What they are after is to control things and be pulling the strings behind the scenes.
Honestly, INEC is already a discredited, organization. So let's hope they will improve on their past performance.
Now, during the election, when they saw that the votes weren't coming in for Atiku Abubakar, all their plans fell apart before their eyes, including the G5 that supported Tinubu. They had to move back to support Tinubu simply because of religion. After all, Tinubu played the same game. He chose a Muslim ticket in order to appeal to the north, and many people fell for it simply because of religion. But it was already late because Tinubu has been talking about the people enjoying the petroleum subsidy at the expense of Nigerians. He has been talking about it before the election. That's why he implemented it on day one. The cut-off of their livelihood on day one proved them right why they supported Atiku Abubakar. Atiku Abubakar wouldn't have cut off their livelihood on day one. People should understand the context here. This is not about who is right or who is wrong. This is just a story, an analysis of what happened. After all, Tinubu that cut off their livelihood didn't do it for the benefit of Nigerians. He did it for the benefit of himself and his associates. After all, before the campaigns, he said it is his turn not only to become president, but also to take over all the things that people around Buhari have been enjoying all these years. So he's making a statement and living up to expectation. You people have been enjoying all this. It is now my turn to enjoy it. That's why all of a sudden Nigeria spent $2 billion importing petroleum products last year from Malta. Throughout Buhari's years, Nigeria never imported petroleum products from Malta. He stopped around 2015, thereabouts, before he took over power. So it means someone else is in charge. Someone else is now importing petroleum products from his own refinery in Malta.
No Nigerian will say, I'm from the West, East, North, but we'll be proud to say, he's a Nigerian.
This cabal knew that P2B will never play ball. That's why they never backed him in the first place. That's why they never uttered a word when all the rigging happened. After all, they had only two options, either Atiku Abubakar or Tinubu. This is why P2B must never be part of any political alliance that can bring back this cabal to power.
A possible formation of a mega party to challenge APC. And we haven't heard much from you concerning that.
You know, for me, my focus is how the poor Nigerians today will eat. I want to talk about things that are affecting Nigerians today. We politicians are preoccupied by election. That's not what I'm talking about. How do we reduce the price of food? Our people are dying of hunger. How do we make life conducive for the poor Nigerians? How do we make sure that people earn more money in order to live? How do we pull people out of poverty? That should be our concern, not forming mega party or this thing. If forming mega party is to be able to provide what I'm saying now, I'm all for it. If it is about state capture so we can start continuing the same consumption, no. But if it's to move it to production, yes.
Yes, P2B said this some time ago. He's a consistent, disciplined person, but people should understand that this is politics. After all, years back, he said that he will never leave APGA. That was when he wasn't considering contesting for the president. So many things can change tomorrow. That's why even Northerners, all the people that trooped out in their numbers to protest during the hunger protest, must never back any cabal, whether they are using religion, whether they are using anything to convince you. You must never back them because they come from the north, because they have contributed to your poverty. Tinubu's Muslim ticket is enough to teach anyone a lesson. Do not back anyone because of religion or because of his ethnicity. It never works. Always back someone that you know has the right mind, has the competence to turn things around in this country. During the presidential election campaigns, P2B made it very clear how he will turn things around starting from the north. That the north has massive wealth because of their massive agricultural land. But unfortunately, the north ignored him simply because of his ethnicity and religion. Nothing else. How can someone be telling you, I want to lift you out of poverty for free? He's not asking you to pay him to do it. Just cast your vote. I will do it. It is my word. It is my bond. But they ignored him because of emotions and sentiments. Now, who is suffering?
Niger State has seen Nigeria. Niger State has been fast love that they are going to do before. The North has the first uncultivated land that we can make more money from agriculture than we make from oil.
At that time, some even said that they will teach him a political lesson so that in future, when they offer him vice presidential candidacy, he will quickly accept it instead of moving to another party 8 months before an election. Today, who is suffering? Who is learning the lesson? So if we, including Northerners, Southerners, Middle Belters, Southwesterners, anywhere you see yourself in Nigeria, if we are truly tired of the political class, that we truly want to change our country, we must make sure that we choose the right candidate, devoid of ethnicity, religion. It doesn't matter. What matters is what he has to offer. And going into an election, another way to identify the best candidate, that's apart from what he says, his antecedents, how he's able to articulate his answers and solutions to many problems, the major thing you should watch out for is if other politicians, especially the establishment politicians, are against that one candidate. If majority of them are always antagonistic about him, know that he is the right candidate. There's a reason they are opposing him jointly as if they are in one party, just like it happened during the last election. The APC guys, the PDP guys were always attacking Peter Obi. Nearly everything he preached about during the campaigns, people are now talking about it today, that they are the solutions to our problems. Is it about from consumption to production? Is it about oil theft? Everything he talked about, they are now singing about it. So there's a reason, or they all ganged up against him, rigged the election, did everything to ensure that he never got to power. They knew that he was going to work for Nigerians, not for them, not the cabal. So if we are truly united and serious about taking back Nigeria, a Nigeria that works for everyone, not for a few, we must make sure that in 2027, we stand united and identify the correct, competent candidate that will save Nigeria from all this mess. Thanks for watching.